there, chipmunks! Welcome to the AMP Cycling Ride Review Series. I'm your host, Angry Chipmunk, and today we're in the Vaud region of Switzerland taking on the Col de la Croix. This route is available on Rouvy, so let's get right into it. And firstly, since we are in Switzerland, we're dedicating this one to Ride for Gino. This is a pretty long mountain route at almost 57 kilometers with an impressive 1,436 meters of elevation gain. The whole ride averages just 3% with a max gradient of 11%. There are 2 Strava segments included on this ride. This route is a bit different in that not only do you get the climb, but the descent as well. This is why the average is a bit lower for the whole ride. Longer rides like this can be great fun, but also be aware that they are far more uncomfortable due to the lack of feedback from the trainer. So get your best and most comfortable bibs ready for this one. The first Strava segment is Aigle Hill. It starts at the 5.3 kilometer mark, is 3.75 kilometers long with 250 meters of elevation gain. This segment averages 6.6% and peaks at about 11.5%. Strava considers this one a Cat 3 climb. The steepest sections of this segment are within the first 1 kilometer. It then backs off for the middle third to mostly 6 to 9%, with the last third backing off again to around 4 to 6%. Now, the hill actually continues for another 7.5 kilometers after the end of the segment until it reaches a flat section. The gradients again steepen just after the segment, around 8 to 9%. After that section, they back off significantly until approximately the last 1 kilometer. The gradients here will range from a very mild 2 to 3% to 8 to 9%. Mostly you'll be seeing about 5 to 7% though. You don't need to pace this one super easily, but the second climb is more difficult, so do save some energy for it. There's an extended false flat section before the second segment, which is La Croix. This section is about 8.5 kilometers long and really very mild. The most gradient you'll see is a couple of small hills at about 7%. This is a really easy spot to push pretty hard, but doing that will make La Croix more difficult. So to up the difficulty, push hard here. To keep things more mellow, slow it down a bit and go more moderately. The La Croix climb starts just past 25 kilometers. It's 7.75 kilometers long with 596 meters of elevation gain. It averages 7.7% and again peaks at about 11.5%. Strava lists this one as a Cat 2 climb. This climb mostly hovers in the 7 to 9% range with the max gradient close to the middle. It's just in 2 or 3 small pinches that are not very long. There are no extended sections where the gradient is double digits on this climb. This one is really not that bad as far as climbs go, so if you're keen for a short climb to try and push pretty hard, this one could be a good choice. Otherwise, it's easy to just sit back and spin it up, which is the path that I chose. My butt really started to feel it about halfway up La Croix, so it's also a good idea to stand up a few times to stretch and just unload the area before the descent. From the summit to the end is almost exclusively downhill, with just a couple of small blips along the way. Great place to push pretty hard, but Rouvy does max out at 72 kilometers an hour, so there's only so hard you can push before it's just wasted energy. If refueling is required again, right at the start of the downhill is the best place for it, so you can work some of it off before the end of the ride. For this ride, you can get away with a bit of a shorter warm-up than with other mountain passes. The first 5 kilometers is neutral zone, meandering through small villages. If you would normally go for 10 to 15 minutes of warm-up, you can back that off to 5 to 10 minutes here. And since the end is all downhill to flat, it's possible to use it as part of your cooldown. I would still give it a few minutes post-ride anyway, but it's not like a full-on summit finish where your heart rate is still quite high. And as always, I recommend pre-fueling this ride, including plenty of protein. The first 5 kilometers are perfectly suitable for eating if you're unable to pre-fuel though. There's not another good spot for a quick bite until about 11.5 kilometers in, so really it's ideal to have plenty of fuel on board before you reach the false flat. And the false flat section is a great spot for some refueling. Something in the order of 10 to 20 grams should be enough for the next climb and possibly to the end of the ride. Be sure to have your fast-acting carbs on hand, such as gummies, mini chocolate bar, full sugar drink, etc. They can be very useful for those steeper sections when your energy starts to wane. And as this is over 1,000 meters of climbing, I would definitely have a post-ride protein of some sort and a magnesium supplement. Now the view on this one is spectacular, as are all mountain passes. It's really beautiful up the mountain and equally as beautiful down it. I really like seeing the downside viewpoint for something a bit different. And this one looks like it was filmed in summer, so everything is a really lush green with plenty of tree-lined roads. And it wouldn't be Switzerland without cows, and this route doesn't disappoint, with plenty on the side of the road. And be sure to watch out for the big stone cow. This ride took me just under 3 hours to complete on 100% difficulty emulation. This was several months ago, so this number may be a bit higher than what it would be today. With that in mind, be looking to budget anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 hours for this one. It's definitely an enduro ride and not at all suitable for those with time constraints. Overall, this is a fantastic route that I would definitely recommend for the climbing enthusiast who also hates their backside. The elevation gain paired with the distance make for a really long ride, and on the trainer it's just not super fun. But I really did enjoy this route, and that it was a loop and was something a little bit different with the perspective of going up and down the mountain. For this route, I give a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed going up the mountain and coming back down again, and the fact that it makes a tidy little loop back to the start is really cool. For the climbs, a 3 out of 5 and 4 out of 5. The first climb is quite a bit longer than the segment suggests, but it's actually not that steep. And La Croix is more difficult, but it's also still not too bad as far as climbs go. For the view, 5 out of 5. I loved the descent on this one and seeing the mountains get larger as you went. And overall, a 5 out of 5. Definitely put this one in your ride queue and be sure to wash your best bibs. Well, that's it for this review, so thanks for watching, Chipmunks. Let me know in a comment what you thought of the Col de la Croix when you've completed it, and let me know when you found the stone cow. I'll leave you to finish the rest of the ride, and I'll see you next week for another review. Until then, ride on, Chipmunks, ride on.
He was a